Along with most landscape CAD software, GardenCAD allows you to create text styles. To see the styles currently associated with this drawing, I'd go to Settings and Text Style, and you can see in this little text style dialog box that I have two, one called Courier New and one called Standard. If you look at the standard text style, it has a name, Roman S, and a true type font Arial associated with it. So if I cancel from there at the moment and I select this piece of text here, you may be able to see over on the left it's style standard, and that's been created by saying draw text, single line text. I've popped that in, indicated the height, I'll say 150, and the angle 0, and I'll say something like text single line style standard. And in it goes. And if I select it, notice at the top of the box it says text. But you can also put in text using that standard style, but put Windows true type fonts in. So I can say draw text Windows text. And remember, our style is still standard, so I'll pop in here and I'll type 150 for my height and 0 for the angle, and I'll say text in style standard Windows. So we're using Windows, and in it goes. And although I've misspelled standard, you can see it's gone in the alternate. So if we go back to settings here and text style and look at standard, you can see it has a name. We've called it Roman S, but if we pick on it, we can assign any sort of CAD font to it. It's Roman S is the CAD font associated with it, but there's its true type font. So depending how you put the text in, whether you use a single line text here and I can select it, or I can use Windows, so you can see a box wraps around the whole lot. Notice that the height, even though I've mentioned or set it at 150, does look slightly different. Let's look at the other text. So settings, text style. I've got another one here called Courier New, and it has a CAD font. The name associated with it is it's Courier New, and it has the Courier New CAD font. These fonts that you see in the box here, when we pick on the name, are all CAD fonts. So I could set that however I want, but I like to keep things really simple. So I've given the name of the style the same name as the CAD font that I'm using. And in this case, I'm rather fortunate because I can find among all of the Windows fonts that are installed on this computer, I can find a matching Courier New font. So now I either type in a piece of text using a CAD font, which is this one here, and it shows in the properties bar as just text, or I pick this one here, and I've got to come over to the side, and it says true type text, and they, even though they're nominally the same height, they clearly are a little different. So you have two types of lettering, if you like, CAD lettering and Windows lettering. And it's up to you as to which you choose, but you just have to be aware of what you're doing when you pick settings and text style, and be fairly careful with your naming conventions. I'd argue keeping the style list relatively small. We could make a new one, and let's call it hand. And what we'll do is search for a hand lettering CAD font. So here we are, we'll change our CAD one to a hand lettering one. I haven't got one called hand, but I have got one called Arc 2, and you'll see down here in the preview we'll get a view of it, and it does look like a hand lettered font. And for our true type font, we'll try something wildly different. we'll use something like Comic Sans, which is a pretty common Windows font. We don't get a preview of it, although if it's selected and we click here, no, we don't get a preview. We'll go OK. So we've got a brand new font called Hand, so let's use it. So draw, text, single line text, pop that in, indicate 150 for the height and the angle, and we'll put that in so it's in style Hand. And the style we're using, you see here, is Hand. We can change the width factor and cramp it up a little if we want, so we can make it 0.8 and a little more compact. So there it is with its slightly distorted 0.8 text spacing. So it's up to you how you use this. Let's put in a Windows font, draw, text, Windows text. This is going to be quite different, isn't it? We can insert it there, 50 for the height, the angle 0, same text in style. It's not standard, is it? It's text style Hand, but using Windows. So OK, and it should go in Comic Sans style. So there you have it. Hopefully that's a reasonable explanation of how you use and control text in CAD drawings. Our recommendation is to stick with CAD fonts rather than Windows fonts. You might want to use Windows fonts in the logo, in your logo, or in title blocks.